Okay, for this problem, I'm going to create a histogram out of this data set and show you how to change the number of bars and cut and paste into a document. Okay, so first let's go over what the default looks like for the histogram in StatCrunch. So what I'm going to do first is click on Graph, scroll down to Histogram, and select the column. Okay, so I'm going to click on Compute, and you'll notice that uh, it defaults to, let's see, there's 8 bars here. And in the homework and maybe in your lab, you'd like to change the number of bars. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the class width. Okay, so let me click out of that. Now remember from section 2.1, the class width is calculated by taking the highest value, subtracting the lowest value, and then dividing by the number of classes, and then rounding up to the next integer. Okay, so for this data set, I'm going to need the highest value and the lowest value. So to find that, I'm going to click on Stat, scroll to Summary Stats, and select Columns. Again, I want to select the column that I'm working with, and click on Compute. Okay, so I see that the max value is 39 and the minimum value is 0. Okay, so to calculate that, I'm going to take 39, subtract 0, and then divide by 5, because in this particular problem, I'm interested in 5 classes. So that turns out to be 7.8, which rounds up to 8. So the class width for this particular problem would be 8. Now, what's important to keep in mind when you're doing this section is that if, for example, this value came out to be 7.3, I would still round up to 8. For calculating the class width, you don't adhere to the regular rounding rules that you're used to, and that is why the text includes that in italics. Okay, so now that the class width is 8, I'm going to go back to StatCrunch. I can clear that out. I'm going to click on Graph, scroll down to Histogram, again select my column, and a little further down the screen you'll see bins. Bins is another word for the bars for the histogram. And I'm going to change that width to 8 and then click on Compute. And you'll see that now I have a histogram with 5 numbers of classes, which corresponds to 5 bars in my histogram. So to get this cut and pasted into my Word document, it's a little bit more cumbersome in StatCrunch. What I need to do is I need to click on Options and click on Copy. It's going to open up this other screen with another histogram, the same histogram in it, and you'll see that you're told to right click the image, and then down at the bottom you'll see that tip. So once we get into our document, we want to select Paste Special and then paste as device independent bitmap. Okay, so I'm going to right click on the graph and copy image and open up my Word document. Now up in the right corner there's paste. Okay, so typically you would just right click into your document if you're working with another type of software, but for StatCrunch we need to go to paste and scroll to paste special, and you'll see that I want to select device independent bitmap according to the tip. Okay, then I'm going to click on OK. Now this graph is fairly large, so to shrink this, I'm going to go ahead and right click on it and scroll down to Size and Position, and it opens up in the Size tab. If it's not, please click on that, and then you can just go ahead and down arrow under Height and it will change the dimensions proportionately. I typically like a height of about 3, but again you could you don't have to do that. Okay, so after selecting the size I want, I'm going to click on OK, and you'll see that the graph is much smaller. And then from this point I could go ahead and type and save my document.